So I almost lost an entire week of training. 5 days off the bike, sick, no progress. And with 25 days until a 125-mile ride, that's not exactly ideal. But instead of trying to force fitness back, this week is about resetting, understanding the bike, and dialing in the training. So for the 125, I'll be riding the Haro, straight out of the box, just how it is with the Ultegra. And the only change I've made is I put it on some 32mm tires, just a little bit wider for longer range comfort. It's smooth, it's consistent, and ultimately it just works. That bike gives me flexibility for long climbs and the ability to hold speed when things flatten out. And for a ride like this, that matters way more than having the lightest or the fastest setup, although it is very light and very fast. But honestly, the bike is the easy part. So I realize I've never really done much as far as explaining the bike or explaining training. So we're gonna work on that a little bit today, just because I was sick last week and I missed most of the rides I intended on doing. But this will be a good point to reset and to get everything going again. So a basic rundown real quick. We're gonna use the Zwift bike just to point everything out. It'll be easier here using the trainer. So this thing right here is the drivetrain. All of this pedal assembly and moving everything back, including the chain and this rear portion here that the chain is spinning. This is what turns our effort into movement. So starting with the drivetrain, we have our pedals, which everybody should be relatively familiar with. Most of us use a clip-in style pedal on road bikes, just because this is a preferred method to keep your feet on the pedals and it gives you more control in turns, in my opinion. So next we have the crank arms or the crank set. The crank set would be both, and there's a little piece that runs through the middle to connect those. And then we have the front chain ring here, a chain, and then this is typically known as the rear cassette. On the Zwift bike, however, this is just called a cog because there's only one. So a cassette is a series of cogs back here. So the drivetrain is how we control our effort. The rate at which we spin these pedals, forward of course, is called cadence. Cadence is how we can modulate our effort. That's all the components with fancy names. So now we just have some basics. We got our hoods here, handlebars, and then this isn't here on a traditional bike. This is just to put your phone or anything on the Zwift bike. This is gonna be top tube. We've got a down tube here, bottle cages of course, and then seat post, seat, and front triangle, rear triangle. Pretty basic as far as the bike goes. Everything's semi-self-explanatory. So now that we know all of that, let's go ahead and go over why these things matter, and then we'll get to training zones. So these things matter because these are contact points of the bike and the shape of the bike. So the contact points, handlebars, seat, pedals, are all very important. This is what makes either a 20-mile ride very comfortable or an 80-mile ride very uncomfortable. But honestly, most of that doesn't matter if your training isn't right. This is where most people either improve or completely waste their time. So I use TrainerRoad just because it's an easy coach that is relatively cheap. At $20 a month, it's a lot easier to use an AI program than to try to talk with an actual coach and spend 10x that money a month. So we're gonna use the TrainerRoad zones, and they tend to run on a 7-zone model to the best of my understanding. So we're gonna measure our effort in watts. This is just a reading that shows the amount of power that you can put out, anywhere from 1 and up. 1 horsepower is 750 watts. Now, not many people can maintain that for very long. A couple of seconds typically, maybe 10, if they're lucky, 30 seconds or a minute at a professional level tops. Zone 1 is active recovery. That is anything under 55% of your FTP, which your FTP is functional threshold power. That is what you can do for approximately an hour. So at zone 1, you're not building fitness, you're recovering so you can. Zone 2 is 56 to 75%. This is your foundation. This is where you have the ability to go for a long time. Most rides, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10 hours, live in this range. Zone 3 is tempo, 76 to 87%. This is steady pressure. You can hold it, but you're definitely working. Usually anywhere from 20 minutes to a couple hours, depending on your fitness level. Zone 4, or sweet spot. This is a TrainerRoad specific zone. This is the most efficient place to train. This is between 88 and 94%, so a real small range. You can get a ton of fitness here without completely destroying yourself. It's typically 20 to 60 minutes of work broken into intervals. and this may go up as your fitness goes up. So zone 5, or threshold, or FTP, it is your 95 to your 105% range. This is the hardest pace you should be able to sustain for about an hour. This is usually done in interval ranges of 8 to 20 minutes. And now zone 6, or VO2. So if you hear VO2 max or zone 6, just know those are interchangeable. That is going to be 106 to 120% of your FTP. These are short, hard efforts that raise your ceiling. These are typically 30 seconds up to maybe 5 minutes. And now we get to zone 7, or anaerobic, or sprints. This is anything over 121% across the board. This is all out efforts, any sprints or anything in that range. So in summary, zone 2 builds the base, sweet spot and threshold teach you how to use that base, and VO2 raises the ceiling. And now on to a part I realize I haven't really touched on much. Why do I train? Why do I love the bike? What is this whole YouTube channel for? Well, let's go ahead and get into that, shall we? So just to start it off, I'm a surgical tech. That's what I do for work, and then this is what I do for fun. I love riding the bike. It's a great time. This is something I started almost 10 years ago now, just as a passion project. I was in an area that had fantastic bike paths, Northwest Arkansas. You guys know where you're at. That's awesome. Best road cycling and mountain biking probably in the country now that I've been around a lot more. But I've been a travel tech now for about 3.5 years. I spent 3 years at my first facility really learning the ropes, and I've come to love what I do. But I realize it's important to have a passion project, and that's what this channel is, and that's what the bike is for me. I just love biking. I've been biking for almost 10 years now, and I started off on a traditional flat bar, comfortable rim brake bike. I love that bike. I put in about 500 or 700 miles on it. All right, sorry, I just lost my other camera, so everything else is gonna be from here, or less cutting back and forth. I loved that bike, it was fantastic, and then I ended up switching up to a Trek Damani. Well, the Trek Damani is an absolutely gorgeous bike. It's hanging up on the wall at my parents' place currently. I put 7,000 miles on that bike and decided it was time to retire it. I've had a few bikes intermittently in between, and I enjoy them all in different ways. But what keeps me cycling? Why do I love it? It's just beautiful. Every time I get out there, I love seeing how far I can push myself. I love seeing what the area has to offer. And you really get a different perspective of your entire city when you walk, run, or bike it. It's made me walk a lot more just to restaurants in town and little things. It's also just really changed how I view a lot of cities. There's so much beauty hidden that you can really only access by a bike or running, so that's worth it. But at the end of the day, I think what I like the most about the bike is if you put in the work, you get to see the results. And that result doesn't always come as speed or anything super notable, but you'll feel better about yourself and you'll notice things that you didn't notice before. Like, hey, I can push harder now. I can go deeper than I used to. Or this just feels easier for the same speed. Those are all amazing feelings. Well, that's enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I just want to say thank you to every one of you, almost 2,000 people that are tuning into these videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's amazing. This is something I've just started for fun because I thought it would be a good time, and you guys have really made it worth it. We're just about halfway through our first year of posting here. I think this is episode 26 or 27. I'm a little off on my dates right now. I apologize with being sick last week. This video is being filmed the day before it's going live, so we'll get to see how a quick edit goes. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. It makes the world of difference. It has been so fun to document my life and to attempt to make this series. Insta360 sound there. But it has been a blast. Thank you guys for tuning in, and please follow to watch this 125 mile attempt. It's 24 days out now. We are so close. And there's going to be a little bit extra fun footage in there too for you. Been working on something in the background that you guys are going to get to see on that video. So stay tuned, and if you made it this far, please leave a comment on what you'd like to see me do after the 125, and go ahead and throw a like in and subscribe, and then go check out Fat to Fast as well. Again, thank you guys so much. This has been absolutely amazing. We do have about 4 more weeks of the 125 coming, but they'll return back to normal schedule next week. This has been a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this around my full-time job, and I ride the bike about 8 hours a week, so between the channel and this is about all I do, but I really enjoy it. Thank you guys again.